The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the QATV staff or board of directors. QATV, in compliance with FCC regulations, is prohibited from exercising control over the content of independent, member-produced public access programming.
Welcome to the show. I'm Esha.
And I'm Soph.
Firstly, I want to share we have our honored guest, Executive Director of Dove, Ms. Sue Chandler, and Lata Rao of Saheli, to enlighten us on the excellence and progress of Dove and its priceless work in society. We are very honored that Dove is sponsoring a film, Driving with Selvi.
Thank you, Esha&Soph. I'm so honored to be here. It's always a wonderful experience to join your show. Dove, as many of you in the audience may know, stands for Domestic Violence Ended. We're an organization that's based in Quincy. We serve a broader radius around Quincy of 17 cities and towns. We're most known for our shelter for victims of domestic violence and their children. And we also provide a number of community services where folks can come in and see us by appointment in our office to get information about domestic violence and talk with us about if they need assistance or help. And we work in partnership with Quincy Police Department, as well as Milton, Randolph, Holbrook, Dedham, and Norwood Police Departments. And we work with a number of different schools, many schools, about 15 different high schools in the area, with a teen dating violence prevention program called Youth Speak, where we work with junior and senior high school students to educate them about domestic violence or dating abuse, but really also about healthy relationships, healthy communication, respect among peers, respect in dating, and then those students teach their own peers about the issue, and they're a resource in their schools for folks who need help. So Dove provides a number of different services, and we try to reach lots of different members of our community, but we're also a small organization, so we can't get to everybody that we hope to reach.
Right. You also have shelter.
We do have an emergency shelter, yes.
And we have an emergency number that anybody can contact. This movie that you're promoting, how did you get to know about it, and how did you promoting this?
Mm-hmm. I forget how I actually learned about it, but I somehow came across information about the Salem Film Festival last winter or spring, taking place on the North Shore in Salem, and it just looked really interesting. So some friends and I went to see the movie. And actually the filmmaker and Selvi herself had traveled to be there. We have a little typo on our flyer because we adapted the language. They will not be at our showing of the movie, but they were there in Salem. So we all watched the movie, and then there was a discussion with them. And the whole time I was sitting there thinking, Dove is in Quincy and the South Shore, where there's a very large South Asian community. We have not connected very well. We don't have any language staff with language skills to reach into that community. We do connect with Saheli, and you will hear from Lata shortly about their work in our geographic area and in the greater Boston area in general around domestic violence, but also supportive friendships. But as I was watching the movie, I thought, it's so inspiring, such a wonderful story of this young woman, Selvi, who's just incredibly courageous. And I thought it would be so fun to bring this to Quincy. So October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and this is one of our events for the month. It's a community outreach event. We hope that folks in the audience will come on Wednesday, October 26th to Quincy High School, where we're going to be showing the movie from 7 to 9 p.m. It's free. All are welcome to attend. And then after the movie airs, we will have a short panel discussion with Lata and 2 other folks, just debriefing about the movie, talking with folks who've come to attend the viewing about what are the services available, and talking about the issues that are raised. But in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, there's a connection because Selvi is a young woman who ultimately is able to leave a relationship with an abusive husband, and she becomes the first female taxi driver in South India. So leaves that situation through the help of 2 wonderful brothers at a specific school. She gets her driver's license, and then she becomes a taxi driver. So,
And what I understand, sorry,
No,
Sophie,
go ahead, yeah.
what I understand is she's a child bride, if I'm right, and South Asia and all of this has a lot of child brides that things like that happen. So we're looking forward to the movie, but we would also like your input of Saheli, your introduction to Saheli and what it's doing as an organization.
Sure. Thank you, Ishita, and thank you, Soph, for inviting me, and of course, Sue for inviting us to be part of this wonderful project. I'm really excited that we are getting this opportunity to see this movie and see the strength of this kind of a woman who's setting an example for all the South Asian women out there that think that it's not possible, especially as you said, child bride, leaving a marriage, coming from a South Asian culture, which is an next to impossible thing, and then going on to make a career, very difficult career too, in the realm of men. But regardless, let me tell you something about Saheli. We've been in existence now for 20 years. We just celebrated our 20th year. We are a 501c3 organization, and we work primarily with South Asian families. We want to empower them. We want to enable them to continue having as fruitful a life as they can possibly have here within our means, that is in the United States. And domestic violence is a large part of what we do, the services we provide, because it being such a prevalent crime and a silent crime. Our South Asian culture doesn't allow for speaking about these issues. So confidentiality is a huge part of this whole, not just for them being afraid of the abuser, but from society as a whole, which is not so obvious in the non-Indian community, or non-South Asian community. They're more afraid of just the abuser. But in our case, we talk about just the community at large that they want to be sheltered from, where they don't want people to know what they're going through. So we play the role of being their confidant, mentor, guide, and resource, to getting the help they need. Other than that, Saheli has been working with the women to make sure we get them the training they might need. We run, as you know, from Quincy, we run our English PC classes from here. Occasionally we have our English language classes too, which is all offered free. I think there's a $10 charge for materials, but other than that, it's entirely free. So then we run some camps, we run visa camps, so we run health clinics, and anything that will work with the South Asian community, any of the assistance that they might be looking for, we try to provide.
How long has your organization been in Massachusetts, or are you located?
Yes, we started in Massachusetts and we've been here for 20 years. We work closely with other organizations in other states. There's Sakhi in New Jersey. There is Saheli there's another Saheli out in the West Coast, although they're not affiliated with us. They do work independently, but we collaborate with them if we have a survivor heading out that direction. But there are several South Asian based organizations that we work with closely. And of course, the other organizations that we work very closely is Dove, Reach, ATASK. These are amazing organizations that provide us all with the help that we need that we cannot provide. We are a very small organization and we do not have the resources that some of these organizations have. The shelter that you spoke of, so that's very useful for some of our clients, and we can reach out to Reach or ATASK or Dove for that kind of assistance or other referrals that they might have access to, which we don't.
Like I know Dove is in the Norfolk County as well as in the
Yes.
extended South Shore
Yes.
community, and
Yes.
Dove is quite prominent in its work with
Yes.
shelters and
Yes.
domestic violence. I have personally been a DV advocate and trained under Dove
Yes.
to be introduced to this other form of life, which I've introduced to QATV as well as the communities. And I was overjoyed to hear that driving Selvi, Dove is bringing to Quincy and to Massachusetts.
How did you, like, when they came to, when you went and saw them in Salem, what did they like? Because it takes over like 9 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
The whole documentary, actually, the whole movie.
Yes.
So that must have been like something to see where she started off from and where she's headed now.
Yes.
It must have been amazing. What an amazing story, actually,
Yes.
to go through all this. And for Sally, do you have a local number here that they contact here?
Yes.
We'll put that
We'll-
on
yeah.
also for our viewers.
After she talks about that, I'll certainly give you that number for sure.
Right,
Thank you.
Right.
And I also, actually, an important thing for us to share is we newly have added a staff attorney to our staff who does immigration work. So that is often something that folks dealing with domestic violence or abuse need help with, and now we're in a position to help them.
That is with people who don't have like legal immigrant, like they can't
Correct.
work here or they come here with their spouses, so you
Yes.
help out with them. like, to
Exactly.
get-
Yes.
That is so good.
That is very
Very
big,
important.
big part of our assistance because most of the cases that we see
Right.
in Saheli particularly are the H1, H4 abuse because the control is with the spouse and the wife does not have. But now I think there's a law where the H4 can work under certain circumstances,
Yes.
which is a huge plus because that wasn't the case earlier. And also now the fact that she can apply under the VAWA Act or the for the
Yes.
U visa, so which is a big plus now for them.
Absolutely, because I
yeah.
know that Quincy is a diverse community. So
Yes.
it's not only serving mainstream, it's
Yes.
serving all the diverse cultures like South Asia, Asia, as well as Middle East and South America. And amazingly, you are providing legal assistance, which is just like you mentioned, to the skilled for the H4, because
Yes.
most of the H4s are skilled, educated, but they
Skilled.
don't have a way to. And in your case, I have met the South Americans at your DV advocate training, and amazingly how you're helping them to come out of this violence and then go ahead and make a life for themselves and their children.
Which people are doing for themselves with our help.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It is such a especially in the South Asian culture, it's such a taboo thing
Yes.
because you don't want, nobody thinks, everybody pushes under the rug kind of a thing. So it is an amazing work you guys do. Like, that is really helpful. And hopefully we can see more of this and how this girl actually becomes and what she's gone through. The movie, tell us something about it, like people who haven't seen it.
Oh, well, it's definitely something we want you to experience for yourself. But she is a sweet young woman who's very curious about the world and, as I said before, great courage. She's very brave and is able, like lots of survivors of domestic violence, she's able to grow her own voice inside herself. And she's at a time of desperation where she's very, very sad about her circumstances and thinks about killing herself, actually, and then decides she wants to live and is able to get help. So she's got some grit, some determination, and she's able to follow through on that. Very connected to family, and I don't want to give you this fun spoiler at the end, but it's a very positive story. And I definitely want to recognize our co-sponsors for this event. So we obviously, Faces of South Asia, are active co-sponsors. Saheli Boston, the Boston Asian American Film Festival, which is taking place October 20th to 23rd at Art Emerson Paramount Center. So definitely look up the schedule of films and check it out. Boston Asian American Film Festival and Quincy Asian Resources, our very own community resource for the Asian community.
Let's have a look at the trailer.
Do you like me?
I like you very much
Why?
because you have a very good personality.
My personality?
ಅಂದರೆ ನನಗೆ 14 ವರ್ಷ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು.
ಅವ್ನು ಸಖತ್ ಹೊಡಿತಿದ್ದವನು.
ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಸಾಯೋದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನನ್ನ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಸರಿ ನಾವು ಸತ್ತರೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ನಿರೂಪಿಸೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ನಾನು ಸತ್ತೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಮನೋಭಾವನೆಯಿಂದಲೇ ಬಂತು.
ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಸೆಲ್ವಿ, ನಾನು ಡ್ರೈವರ್ ಆಗಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಈಗ ಯಾರೇ ಬಂದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಫಿಮೇಲ್ ಡ್ರೈವರ್ ಅಂತ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಸಖತ್ ಖುಷಿಯಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಜೊತೆ ಜೀವನ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅದು ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಸುಳ್ಳು ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
I do have to mention that the viewers have to understand that this is not America, this is India that driving Selvi is. And to break the traditions, to run away as a child bride is next to killing yourself. And watching the movie not only gives me the courage for all other young child brides back home as well as in this country, the struggles, and it's not okay to commit suicide. You have to just get out of it and go for it. I'm so glad that you brought this to Quincy. I mean, just priceless. I have no words to express. And you understand Kannada, I understand.
Yes.
And
I am from the state of Karnataka, so I do understand and speak Kannada. But more heartening, I just wanted to raise this issue about young people coming forward. You know, earlier on, women would be in marriages which involved domestic violence for years and years. There would be children involved. There would be until there came a breaking point. Sometimes it didn't. Sometimes it would result in just them living that life and dying that way. But of late, we've been getting so many calls with this H1, H4, which is in a way heartening to see because it is showing us that these women are not willing to put up with any of this anymore. They are willing to get out of the marriages before they bring in offspring, which will then perpetuate this problem, you know. So, and we're finding a lot of parents calling us, which is extremely heartening because it's showing us that there's support, which never used to exist before. You know, parents said to you, you're married, you're gone, you leave the house and you're no longer our child. You're the child of you're their
So
property.
parents are
so to
calling
speak.
from here?
From here or from
okay.
India, reaching out to us and saying, please help our daughter. She's struggling with this, and we need to know what. And she does not want to return. She wants to make a life for herself. So please see if you can help her. So I feel that is a really wonderful trend where parents are showing support. They're no longer worried about the stigma of society. They still want us to keep it confidential, but at least they're not afraid to take that step to say, you know, if she's not happy, she can leave the marriage. She should leave it. And we always we give them the choice. Obviously, we do not force anyone to break. We do not want to be involved in breaking up marriages. That's not our goal. But yes, domestic violence is not acceptable. That we make it very, very, very clear. And
So it's a huge step for the parents.
It is a
take,
huge
and
step, huge.
And for the society to change, yes.
Yes, and for our community to be able to step up and say, yes, this is happening within us.
as much as it's our community who is stepping up to see
Yeah.
what's happening, is what
Yeah.
I'm amazed. The movie had to be made by a non-Indian,
non-Indian.
non-South Asian producer, director, who decided and who had the
Yes.
heart. And then Sue, which obviously with your blonde hair, you're not South Asian.
I'm not.
You're not.
Surprise!
Yes, but you're the one who initiated that. Let's bring it to the South Asian society. Of course, you co-sponsored. Saheli
Right,
co-sponsored.
right.
We are trying to help. But who initiated this? It was a non-Indian who felt
Well,
Right. But you know, there are a lot of
And the
Indians.
non-Indian who made it too.
And the
Yeah.
non-Indian
who
No,
made
there are
it.
a lot of movies. I have to tell you, there are a lot of Indian directors that have made movies on domestic violence, except that they're not widely appreciated because the bulk of the population of India is illiterate that lives in the villages. So when you talk about addressing 70% of the population that's in the rural community, they don't want to go to a theater to watch someone getting beaten up or someone doing something that is beyond what they can imagine. They want to see the song and dance and routine, and they want to see these larger than life heroes in the movie, which is why it's not widely accepted, and there is no money involved in something like this, sadly. But you're right, it's nice to see that someone else from outside the country is coming out here
It's amazing.
and showing the story of this wonderful young girl. So,
And it's very important for us all to remember that we each have a role in ending domestic violence, and there are certain things that I can do, but all of us together can do that much more. So, the important thing for me was, if we're going to do this, we have to partner with folks who know this community. This is your community. I'm not trying to bring something from the outside, but I really wanted to bring this to Quincy with you all.
yes.
That's so wonderful to hear, the responsibility taken by joint community to bring so that all of us have a say in domestic violence and take it through. I also understand that you have your gala that you have in October. Would
We
you
do.
mention some of it?
So Dove's annual fundraising gala is called Harvesting Hope, and that is taking place from the date of the filming. It's in about a week. So Friday, October 14th at the Quincy Marriott. And we also have, every year we do a memorial domestic violence vigil in honor of folks who've been killed in Massachusetts in the past year. And we have a vigil taking place in Randolph on Wednesday, October 19th, and in Quincy at the Quincy United Methodist Church on Beale Street on Thursday, October 20th. Both of those events start at 6:30, and information is available on our website, which is on the screen here. I hope that this show airs before the Harvesting Hope Gala next Friday. We'd love to have folks join us there as well. It's our biggest fundraiser of the year, where we raise money to support the services that we provide all year long.
And Dove has been instrumental in Norfolk County as well as the South Shore, headquartered here in Massachusetts as well as in Quincy. So do support Dove and the South Asian community on Saheli. We look forward with all of you, and you join us for the movie. Airing of the movie is on October 26th at Quincy High School. We wish to see you there. Thank you for joining us. It's been a
I just want to talk about the Purple Purse Challenge that Saheli is involved in.
Please.
This month
What?
being Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we
Sure.
are also doing a 1-month fundraiser. We are participating in the Purple Purse Challenge, and that's on our website at saheliboston.org. If you could go there and look under donate, and you'll see all the various events. And this particular month specifically is targeted towards our domestic violence survivors. It's on the online. So all of us have our own Purple Purse page in which you can pick any of our Saheli advocates to donate to. So because our goal is to raise a certain amount by the end of the month. So it would be really wonderful if you could pick any person to donate towards to, so that we can meet our goals for this month.
Sure. So we have now the information on Dove as well as Saheli, and we will add the website so you can all join us in making domestic violence history. Thank you once again.
That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Sue.
you.
Thank
It
you.
was a pleasure. Thank you, Lata. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much. It was
And
really
Nisha.
nice. And I'm Soph.